So today's video I'll be showing you how to make Čevapi bread. Now this is otherwise referred to as Hleb, Kruh or Hleb. It is a very dense round roll which is predominantly used for things with like pleskavice or Čevapi, but it's super easy to make, and best of all it only requires a couple of ingredients. So watch and learn. So first off, you'll need to activate your yeast. So you'll be adding your yeast and sugar to warm water, giving that a good mix and leaving that aside covered with some Glad wrap or cling wrap for approximately 10 minutes until a frothy sort of foam top begins to develop. Once, of course, your yeast is ready to go, you'll be adding in your plain flour to a mixing bowl with your salt and then, of course, the yeast mixture on top, and giving that a good mix until it's completely combined, which will be approximately 10 minutes. Now once it's combined, you'll have a sticky mixture, but it's not going to get attached to your skin. So it's sticky, but it still somehow pulls together. You're going to take that off your hook, leave that in the bowl, cover it with some Glad wrap, and then you're going to leave that aside for approximately 45 minutes if you can be that patient. Otherwise 30 minutes should be okay, but ideally is 45 minutes. Leave it there covered, and then we'll follow on to the next step. Now that the 45 minutes have passed, you'll add your oil, and then you're going to further mix this until it's completely combined. Now bear in mind this will probably take another 10 to 15 minutes. Ideally it would probably only be about 10 realistically, but what it does is it starts to curdle once you've added the oil in, so you need to make sure that you've completely combined it until it becomes one sticky dough. So you'll see now once that's done, you'll have a much stickier dough which will get attached to your fingers, but don't stress, this is what you need. The softer your dough is, the softer the bread will be. So now take out your dough onto a lightly floured surface, and you're just going to knead that lightly just to sort of bring it together so it's no longer sticky on the outside and more smooth. And then you're going to divide that into however many portions you like. I divide this recipe into 4 and that's enough for us, but if you wanted smaller rolls, obviously you can go ahead and do 6. Now sprinkle a little flour on top, cover with some cling wrap, and leave that aside covered with a tea towel on top for approximately 20 minutes. Now during that 20 minutes you can go ahead and get a tray ready with some baking paper and sprinkle a little bit of plain flour on top. And then you're going to take your roll as is. Be careful not to sort of press it and muck around with it too much in your fingers. Place it on your tray, and you're going to gently press it down with your fingers to create little indentations throughout the entire bread. I recommend not putting them too close together because they will expand and rise, and also because you don't want the edges to join because it doesn't look as pretty. Like this, it ensures you'll get a nice round circle. Now it's during this stage I would recommend to preheating your oven at 200 degrees just so you get the right temperature when you're going to put your bread rolls straight into there. Now cover for a final rise of only 10 minutes with some cling wrap, and you're going to put that straight into the oven afterwards, so you're baking at 200 degrees for 15 minutes or until golden brown. Key point is not to open your oven door throughout the cooking process. Make sure it's left closed until it's completely golden brown. Now once it's fully cooked, I would recommend putting a towel over the top and leaving that to cool for a further 5 minutes. This will actually allow the exterior to soften also, so it's not as crunchy. I hope you guys enjoy, and be sure to let me know what other videos you'd like to see.